Broncos Country, Panthers fans, we are breaking down some keys to victory. We talked about it and teased it a little bit just a bit ago when we talked about taking care of the football, but there's some specific keys to victory for each team in this game here as we approach week 8. Once again, thanks so much, and shout out to all the everydayers out there that make Locked On Broncos, Locked On Panthers your first listen of the day every single day. We really appreciate you for doing so. And Julian, I'm looking forward to this game. You know, it's football season. We can't complain. I'm looking outside. The trees are all changing colors. It's a great time of year if you're a football fan. Let's talk about some keys to victory for the Panthers, because I know, like, Broncos fans have not been used to winning since Super Bowl 50. It's been rough times in Broncos country. Everybody's afraid, even of, it doesn't matter if you're coming in 1-6. It doesn't matter if you're coming in as, they play the Ravens next week. The Broncos country is on pins and needles waiting for this game. So maybe let's do a little fear mongering here for Broncos country. Tell them why the Panthers are going to win this game, or how they can win this game.
Yeah, I got a friend here in Charlotte who is a Broncos fan. He already said to our group chat this week, it's like, yeah, the Broncos are definitely going to find a way to lay an egg to the Panthers. And now with Bryce Young, where, I saw the line. It was like 7.5 a couple of days ago. It was 8.5 when I looked at it on Tuesday. On Wednesday, it was at 9.5. So it's like, okay, that had to have obviously been the Bryce Young factor. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm happy you said that about it's football season. And people need to be happy about it, because I get so many fans who are already asking me things that are like off-season February conversation. Like, can we just focus on the football? And focusing on the football on Sunday, like, the first thing they got to do, they got to show and build confidence in Bryce Young early. You showed after 2 weeks, you being Dave Canales, that you did not believe in this guy. And in seeing the team's overall effort and energy when they just blew the doors off of the Raiders in that game. I know it was final score 36-22. That game was over at the end of the third quarter, y'all. That was a bunch of garbage time that Las Vegas got after that. Like, Bryce just clearly did not have the belief in the team. They got to find a way to get him some quick throws early on, be able to take care of the football, not ask him to do too much throwing down the field, and actually instill some confidence in him. And look, in the first couple of weeks of the season, he was 31st in EPA in week 1 and week 2. And surprisingly, like, week 1, that was not the worst. It was Deshaun Watson. Week 2, it was the worst, as he really struggled. Second thing got to do, they got to run the ball. That's really their bread and butter. I know Canales talked about all offseason. You want to be stubborn about running the football. That has not really been the case. Panthers are only 23rd in the NFL in rushing attempts per game, where Chuba Hubbard is leading the NFL among rushers with at least 50 attempts, and a rushing success rate at 62.1. Like, this guy has been outstanding so far in the last year of his rookie deal. The Panthers, they average 123 yards rushing in the last 5 games of Andy Dalton. Only averaged 74 the first 2 games with Bryce Young. Big reason is because they were not able to convert third downs. They were 2 of 22 on third down with Bryce. They've been a little bit better with Andy. Only 38%. Still not great, but they got to find a way to rush the ball, have success early on, get Bryce in some third and short situations to where he can make some nice throws that aren't too far down the field, have some confidence that can really build towards kind of what we got to see from him in that second half against Green Bay a year ago. And the third thing is, like we talked about, this is not a great Broncos offense. They cannot stay on the field on third down. Their quarterback has made some mistakes, but he's still learning on the job. And look, I love Bo Nix. Love his story. Dude who grew up in Alabama. His dad played at Auburn, always dreamed of going to Auburn, came in there, won his first game. Things were up and down there. Then went to Oregon, turned it around, and became a first-round pick. Would have never thought that was going to be the case, even when he started out at Auburn back in 2019. So good for him to be in this spot. But y'all, Bo Nix is not there yet, and I don't know if he's ever going to be there. The Panthers cannot let a Bo Nix-led offense, much like a Marcus Mariota offense last week, have success against them and go up and down the field like we've seen. So that's really the thing. Don't get embarrassed defensively. Find a way to run the ball, take pressure off of Bryce, and show some confidence and build some confidence in him early in the game, and at least go out there and be respectable.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the key. Anytime anybody's playing the Broncos, you want to absolutely fluster Bo Nix as much as you possibly can. I hate to do this, Julian. This is going to be so corny. I'm going to start off my keys to victory. You're going to hate me for this. I'm going to say, number one, the Broncos got to keep pounding the rock. They've gone 5 straight games with 100+ rushing. I know that's terrible. Don't.
Hey.
You know what? Hey, I had to do it. I had to.
Younghoe Koo in the tunnel leaving Bank of America Stadium a couple weeks ago. Younghoe Koo is the Falcons kicker, for those who don't know. He said, keep stanking. So I'd rather your pun of keep pounding than Younghoe Koo, a kicker, out here trolling the Panthers after getting a victory.
That is tough. That is tough. He deserves whatever's coming after that one. I'll say that. But yeah, you want to keep pounding the rock. Number one key to victory for the Broncos: 5 straight games with 100+ rushing yards, including, like I said, 225 yards against the New Orleans Saints. Number two, they need to finish drives with touchdowns, not field goals. That has been a problem pretty much all year as the Broncos have struggled in the red zone to the tune of, I mean, it's not been good. 52.4%, which has improved substantially in recent weeks, even, which is kind of crazy to think about. Number three, they need to keep that pass rush heat turned up high. And I actually made these keys to victory before we found out about Bryce Young going into the lineup. I don't think that changes. I've already spoiled this for everybody that's listening for the entire season, Julian, that I'm going to have rush the quarterback on there as one of the keys to victory every week, because
Totally
when
fair.
you can get after the quarterback, like, I mean, it creates opportunities for your offense, right? That's exactly what you want to do out there. You mentioned that the Atlanta Falcons have 6 sacks on the season. The Broncos, I think, have at least 3 or 4 games where they've got 6 or more sacks in individual games. Like, they rush the passer extremely. I may be exaggerating just a little bit there, but they get after the quarterback really well, and they've done it consistent every week this season. Even against Justin Herbert, when they're not getting off the field on third downs, they were racking up at least 3 or 4 sacks in that game. So the Broncos need to make sure that they make Bryce Young's life miserable out there in the pass rush department.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, man. Like, the Panthers actually have been really good when it comes to pass blocking. I believe they're now 7th in PFF's pass blocking stat after being one of the worst in the NFL the last couple of years. And your first 2 keys: running the ball. Panthers are the worst run defense in the league. When it comes to red zone, the Panthers are 28th in the NFL, giving up a red zone touchdown 70% of the time. So, and they're also the worst as far as scoring percentage defense, the worst scoring defense. So scoring percentage is going to be like that. 55.8% of opponents' drives have ended up in a score. So for Carolina, if you're going to let them score half the time, let it be field goals, not touchdowns, which has been kind of struggles. It's very interesting to hear, like, Broncos have some weaknesses offensively. There are also weaknesses for the Panthers, vice versa, defensively. Which one's going to give on Sunday? So it should be an interesting game. I'm certainly far more excited now watching Bryce Young get another opportunity than I would have been watching Andy Dalton go out there and get another opportunity. And then Dalton, by the way, Canales did say that he's day-to-day the rest of the week to see if he can be the backup. So it's still possible we see Andy Dalton on Sunday. I find it interesting if he's going to be the backup. I mean, they don't have a third quarterback that they could really go to. They would have to elevate Jack Plummer from the practice squad, who is a undrafted free agent rookie out of Louisville, and he didn't really inspire too much confidence in the preseason until the final game. But still, so they're kind of really hoping Andy can at least be that emergency guy who would actually still be active. But we'll see how it plays out. So excited to see what Bryce can do. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully it gives me something to talk about. Some controversy here in Carolina could use it, especially during a 1-6 season in which Vegas believes it's going to be a 1-7 season based off of the line. So fun things going on at Mile High on Sunday.
Yeah, like you said, in a lot of ways, it's the movable object against the stoppable force in so many different ways here with the Broncos offense against the Panthers defense.